300 trillion miles above London's murk is a galaxy that is blowing itself apart. And I'm afraid that is probably what's going to happen to us. Galactic-wide mega-apocalypses like this don't happen every day. They only really happen when you get too close to another galaxy. Like how we're going to get too close to the Andromeda Galaxy. We are heading towards it 300,000 miles an hour. Well, I've got some good news and some bad news. The good news is you don't have to worry about this for another billion years. But just like your 40th birthday, it'll come sooner than you think. Which is why Hubble's been trying to figure out what's ripping these galaxies apart. And it's these. Galaxy-killing star clusters containing tens of thousands of stars that like to go pop. Pop, 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 pop. The bad news is NASA thinks only Hubble is powerful enough to resolve these galaxy killers.
The clusters and the clumps can only be distinguished in the sharp Hubble images.
And that's potentially a big problem. Hubble is on its last legs. It's currently using backup computers. And its replacement, the James Webb, sees in infrared. So I think NASA needs a bit of help. And in this video, me and Big Bertha, with the help of some other amateur nerds, are going to try and do what they say is impossible. We're going to shoot these galaxy-killing star clusters from Earth. And we ain't even going to use giant telescopes. It's just going to be us amateurs doing it. Obviously, this is a massive challenge. But if we pull it off, I think it'll change amateur astrophotography forever. And the reason why I think we can do it is because of a clever little trick, which I'm going to show you next. The music for this Astro Biscuit mission is brought to you by His Majesty King RICKTENSTEIN. Details of all the Astro gear used in this video on my website, link below. You can support the channel by making a donation, becoming a patron, or buying one of our high quality prints. "30 years ago, the Hubble Space Telescope changed everything.
By sending a telescope up above the Earth's atmosphere, they hope to pierce a blanketing ocean of air that has, for the most part, obscured man's detailed view of the universe.
By beating the wobbly atmosphere, Hubble showed us just how bonkers the universe is. And thanks to advances in camera technology, I think we might be able to do what Hubble does and beat the wobbly atmosphere from right here on Earth. And I have got a very high-tech demo here that's going to show you how we're going to do it. The demo consists of a pretend galaxy, complete with pretend star clusters of doom. We've got our pretend wobbly atmosphere, and we've got our pretend telescope. To make our demo perfect, we have to add night with this ND filter. Like a super dark pair of shades, the ND filter makes the pretend galaxy really dim, just like it is in real life. Now, in order to see the galaxy, my camera is gonna have to shoot long exposures. And that causes us problems. Because over the course of an exposure, the atmospheric ripples pass in front of the galaxy many times, bending the light in their wake. And you get this. Blurry shots. You cannot resolve the star clusters in this galaxy at all. And this would be the same no matter how big a telescope you have. I mean, you can go up a mountain, right? You can try and get above a certain amount of wobble, but basically every telescope on Earth is going to have this problem. Now, to get around it, we are going to do something a little bit different. Thanks to modern technology, I can turn my ISO setting up to the max and shoot this dim galaxy with short exposures. And as you can see, all of a sudden, our individual exposures are resolving those little clusters. Awesome. Using this lucky imaging technique, us amateurs can potentially get closer to Hubble's images than any other telescope on Earth. But only if we can overcome lucky imaging's fatal flaw. The problem comes when we stack all these short exposures. Basically, we line them up on top of each other, average it out, and that gets rid of the noise, right? But the thing is, these short exposures don't line up. Even though our short exposures effectively freeze the wobble itself still has the power to distort each exposure slightly differently. In fact, only about 1 in 10 exposures line up. You have to throw the rest away. This inefficiency makes lucky imaging extremely difficult. Basically, you need a small army of telescopes shooting the same thing just to get enough data to make lucky imaging work. To succeed, we need a lot of nerds. So if you've got like an 8-inch Newt or something a bit better than that, please join me in an online community called the Big Amateur Telescope, aka the BAT. Summer 2021, over 300 lovely amateur nerds join me on my Discord server. Welcome everybody.
Kind of new around here, excited to help out in any way that I can.
We set about perfecting the art of lucky imaging. Wow, I love this test.
Yeah, no problem, it's a lot of fun.
The most important thing to find out was this.
What would you say is the best exposure time for lucky imaging?
Ay. Good question. Our exposures need to be short enough to freeze the wobbly atmosphere. But how short that is, I just don't know. Someone called the High Nerd has messaged me and said that a fella at Exeter University will help. Alrighty, thanks guys. I'm heading off now. I'm going to Devon. You can say bye now. Bye.
Goodbye. Bye. Love you.
"20 years ago, some supersonically clever professional nerds wrote a paper on lucky imaging, and it should tell me how short an exposure we need to take to freeze the wobble. Thing is, only professional nerds have access to the paper. So I've had to go undercover to meet a professional nerd informant. Oh, I do hope this is him. The leaves fall heavily this autumn.
But only when the wind blows from the east.
Ben.
Rory, good to meet you.
Good to meet you. What have you got for me, buddy?
Here we are. Lucky imaging by NM Law.
Awesome. Does it work?
Based on this, yeah, looking at an improvement of about 3 to 4 times.
That's massive.
It's a powerful technique.
To get that kind of improvement, I'm hoping exposures of around 5 seconds will be short enough to freeze the atmosphere. Because when I go shorter on something like a galaxy, I get a lot of salt and pepper camera noise and very little galaxy. So the $64,000 question, as far as I'm concerned, is how short do we need to make the exposures?
Well, based on this information, they need to be quite a bit shorter than a second. That's what we're looking at.
Quite a bit shorter than a second?
10 milliseconds would be the absolute best you could hope for.
That's 1/100th of a second, folks, and there's no way we can do that. Blimey.
It's not too achievable, but that would be kind of the theoretical best we could look for.
Oh my goodness. All right, maybe I'm clutching at straws, but we actually only need to double our resolution to get those star clusters of doom. What kind of exposures might I be able to take? Hopefully longer than 1/100th of a second and be able to get double the resolution.
Yes, so somewhere between 1/10 and 1 second would be where you're looking at. The exact number will depend on how big your telescope is and how bad the seeing is as well.
To pull off sub-second exposures, I'm going to need one of the very latest low read noise astro cameras. All right, thanks mate. Have a good one. So I asked for a bit of help. Yes folks, I'm a very lucky nerd, aren't I? Thank you everyone who is appearing here. And I cannot wait to use it in anger with Big Bertha, my 50-year-old scope. I fell in love with Big Bertha the day that I met her. Blimey, look at that. How are you feeling, Vincent?
Gutted, I'm losing one of my best telescopes.
Despite trying to hide her, it didn't take long before Mrs. Biscuit sized up the competition.
Bloody hell! That's enormous.
And I've replaced her focuser but I haven't had the cash to replace her mount, so she's going to have to stick on the far too small red Avalon Linear. Yeah, hopefully this modern camera and this old scope are going to combine to produce something absolutely terrific. All right, folks, this is it. I know, it seems unlikely, but me, Big Bertha, and our fancy camera are about to attempt something that NASA says no telescope on Earth can manage. It'd be so much easier if it wasn't for all the blooming makeup. We're going to focus on an exploding galaxy more than 10 million light years away and reveal the galaxy-killing star clusters to give ourselves the best chance. We're going somewhere dark. Oh, it looks great. Really great. Welcome to Bignor Hill car park. Oh, it's epic. It's great. Dear viewer, it is with unbridled joy that I can report that the mount and the camera and the telescope and the computer, everything slotted together perfectly and booted up straight away. To reveal, yeah, a problem. It's a disaster. Every little breeze is blooming giving Big Bertha the wobbles. It's not that the breeze is strong, it's that my mount is way too small for Big Bertha. And it's causing my shots to look very ugly indeed. I know it sounds completely insane, but I think I'm gonna move everything over to the other side of the hill. We're gonna use the hill to shade us from the wind. I'm gonna park down here. Oopsie. Looks like I've gone the wrong way. I'm not even actually supposed to be in this bit. Stuck in the bloody mud. That's all I need. If I get up on the bank, maybe I can just... Oh, now I've gone into a bramble. I hate to say it, but we're beginning to run out of time. I'm not joking, I really am. Stuck in the mud. You know what? I'm just gonna stop here. This is where we're gonna set up. Hopefully it'll frost or something and I'll be able to get out. Oh man, it's gonna be one of those nights. To avoid shooting through too much atmosphere, we need to catch the galaxy while it's overhead. Slew. If we're delayed, telescope connection lost. The galaxy will start to sink. That shouldn't be happening. And then we'll be shooting through too much wobbly atmosphere. Slew. To be able to resolve those star clusters. She's slewing. We're running. Finally. I've lost half the night. We've only got an hour left. And being as most of what we shoot gets thrown away, I wonder if it's going to be enough. Morning. Big Bertha shot 13,000 frames. We're in with a shot. It wasn't a complete disaster, it was half a disaster. We are going to find out if Lucky Imaging works. To see the results, we will have to wait 48 hours. Because that's how long it takes my computer to process 13,000 frames. When it's finished, I'm going to share it with one of the BAT's most knowledgeable members. Mr. Crazy Physicist, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How's it going?
Oh, I have really bad weather, so I have no chance to get any Lucky Imaging right now.
I've actually managed to do some Lucky Imaging. Can I show you?
Yeah, sure.
This is just 6 minutes worth of data because we had to throw so much away, but it should give us a clue as to how sharp we can get. What do you think?
Well, there is quite a lot of detail in the dust features inside the galaxy, so that looks quite promising. But can you perhaps zoom into the stars?
Yeah.
Because I think there is some kind of flaring going on.
Oh no, really? Oh, I see what you mean. It's the stars, isn't it?
Yeah, right. So the stars are not really perfectly stars, but they're flaring to one side.
Flaring like this happens when the mirrors in the telescope aren't perfectly aligned. I'm not collimated, am I? What a pain.
So it is sharper than normal regular imaging, but you see you don't get really the full resolution potential of lucky imaging.
Oh no. Well, I just have to go again.
I'm afraid so, yes.
Well, fingers crossed. We get some good weather after Christmas, eh? Back in the bat.
Howdy, this is Bat member Astronaut.
I'm not the only one with collimation problems. It's sad for people who want to do lucky imaging who don't have a scope that's sharp enough. It's just there's no point in doing it if you don't. Under the light of a full moon, I perfect a rather good way of collimating Big Bertha. Ooh, that's not bad at all. Now, we wait. Fingers crossed that we have clear weather and please get some data. January is a washout, a European-wide washout. It seems like we are going to get better weather. February's turning out to be even worse. And with no chance of shooting, does anyone have any questions? The bats are getting a bit bored. No questions. March is our last chance to bag this galaxy. Please, please, if the weather breaks, please get some of our data. But this is now the worst astro winter in living memory. And with bat participation dropping to an all-time low. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. And the window for shooting this exploding galaxy pretty much shut. A high-pressure system finally moves in from the Pacific. Oh, blooming hell. Folks, Big Bertha has been sat idle for so long, she's actually now home to a family of spiders. This is really our very, very, very last chance. Very last chance of bagging this exploding galaxy. So, fingers crossed, nothing goes wrong. Welcome to North Dartmoor. I'm hoping that this is going to be the darkest place I've ever shot from. I gotta say, I am feeling apprehensive. Not only is it the darkest, but it's also the highest bit of Dartmoor, which means we're going to have between 1,000 and 2,000 feet less wobbly atmosphere to shoot through. I tell you what, this looks blooming great. Uh-oh, it's coming. Awesome view, isn't it? But why the long face? Is it because it's a bit windy? Up here, the wind is much stronger than it was at sea level. We're the best wind in the world. I just think we're looking at an absolute nightmare. I gotta find a less windy spot, and we ain't got long. Let's see if the wind's any better here. No, the wind is not better here. Time is running out, folks. But this valley looks promising. It's much, much, much better here. Yeah, if I can go deeper into Dartmoor and away from this big road, I think it's game on. If we can do this, we can still do this. it's not too windy, this might blooming work. Ooh, gotta be quick, because the blooming galaxy's gonna be out of range soon. Here comes Big Bertha. Big Bertha's set up. And let me just turn the car headlights out, because then you'll really see. Oh, blimey. Look at it. It really is just absolutely phenomenal. The sky is crystal clear. The stars are twinkling, which is actually bad because it means the atmosphere is wobbly. And talking of wobbly, I wonder how my mount's doing. There's wafts of a breeze. So right now I'm looking at half-second exposures wobbling all over the place. But every so often there's a lull, like now, when Bertha isn't wobbling all over the place. It looks quite good. I wonder if any of the remaining Bat members are out shooting this galaxy tonight. I hope so, because together we may be able to resolve these excessively violent extragalactic star clusters, which NASA says we shouldn't be able to get from Earth. So I'm just waiting for my two best Bat members, really, to show me what we've got. Oh, here they are now. Hello. Hey, Stefan. Mr. Crazy Physicist, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
How did the lucky imaging go with you? Did you manage to get any good stuff?
I had 2 consecutive nights at the end of March with really good seeing conditions.
Unfortunately, only one other person contributed lucky imaging data, but an amazing number managed to contribute with regular long exposure images.
We actually managed to get about 385 hours of data, which is absolutely insane.
Gosh, I honestly thought that most people had given up with the Bat due to the crappy weather, but it sounds like when push came to shove and the weather got better, we managed to get a lot happening. Come on then, show me what we got. But blood me neck, it's brilliant, isn't it?
It's a quite amazing result.
Probably the coolest image I've ever seen from M82.
And look at that! I've never seen it before. Debris that the explosion has flung 38,000 light years away from the galaxy. And that's not all.
There's a lot of stars in this image, but actually these are not stars. I think about 90% of these dots are all galaxies.
It's mad, isn't it? I'm going to random bits, zooming in, and there's just galaxy, galaxy, galaxy.
We have a much wider shot actually. It's really deep also.
This is much wider than anything Hubble could do, and yet potentially it tells us the full story of what's really going on. I love this wide field image. On the left, Bode's galaxy, a giant spiral whose incredible gravitational forces are triggering a catastrophe in the Cigar galaxy on the right. That's amazing. Let me, this is the big thing. I want to zoom in, I want to see how well lucky imaging has done. But to really understand what's tearing the Cigar galaxy apart, we need to see those seeds of Armageddon that the gravity from Bode's galaxy planted in this galaxy's core. I'm zooming in and I'm seeing like little pearls almost.
Yeah, there are a few really bright star clusters.
I mean, it is good, isn't it?
It's really amazing. I was almost at 1 arc-second resolution.
We've gotten at least 3 of those star clusters of doom, which is really surprising because only 3 people lucky imaged. I'm absolutely, totally chuffed. That is brilliant. And roll on next season, because next season we're going to go up again.
So hopefully the next season we have not so crappy weather anymore.
Yeah, let's hope so. To make the bat even more powerful, we need to raise a bit of money. So, in what remains of August, we're selling high-quality Kodak metallic photographs printed by one of the best printers in London. If you wanted one this size, you lived in America, you get it at your door for under $35. You can choose between the Whitfield shot or the exploding galaxy by itself, and we've got different sizes too. The frames, by the way, I've got links to these frames so you can get them off Amazon. You can only buy these amazing prints this August. After that, we're not selling them anymore, and all profits will go towards setting up the Bat's very own web portal. And when the season kicks off in September, we're going to need something even more important than the portal. The Bat needs more lucky images, so please join us by clicking the link below. It's all free, and I'm particularly interested in you if you've got a scope faster than Big Bertha and a good camera, because then basically we can get you lucky imaging. I'm currently recommending QHY's 533M for lucky imaging. It's half the price of my 268 because it's got a smaller sensor, but it has the same incredibly low read noise, which is about 20% better than ZWO's 2600. You can find more info on lucky imaging gear and lucky imaging theory on my website, link below. Huge thanks to the admins and mods who work on the Discord server. They work for free, the server's free, and it's a great place to learn astrophotography. Massive thank you to my patrons. It would simply be impossible to make a video as complicated as this one without your support. So thank you. Patrons have access to hidden channels on my Discord server, and I'm making another tutorial video just for you guys. It's coming very soon. It's called the BISCUIT method of Newtonian collimation. Thanks, Ankit, for helping me move my website. And of course, a massive thanks to the talent that is his RICKTENSTEIN-iness. You can buy his album, link below. Also, he's now available to do music and audio for your video. Get in touch. This is one of the tracks on his album. Hope you like the show. Doodle pip.